welcome back to Read with Miss Olson. I'm here with the pigeon again today, and we are ready to read another story. Today we're reading a story called The Elves and the Shoemaker. This story is a fairy tale or a folk tale. And when we have a fairy tale like this, the author retold the story because it's an old story that he heard from a long time ago, and that's what a fairy tale is. And so he retold the story, and that's Freya Littledale, and the pictures are by Britton Turkle. That's our illustrator who drew all the pictures. So today as we read our story, The Elves and the Shoemaker, our word to watch is pretty. Can you tell me what pretty means? I heard you say that pretty means beautiful or lovely or nice looking or looks good. Those all mean pretty. Great job. When you hear our word pretty in our story, make sure to put your big thumbs up. While we are reading today, we are also going to be doing some predicting. I bet, because, about what's going to happen in the story. Let's get started. The Elves and the Shoemaker. There was once a good shoemaker who became very poor. At last he had only one piece of leather to make a pair of shoes. "Well," said the shoemaker to his wife, "I will cut the leather tonight and make the shoes in the morning." I'm going to make a prediction here. I bet the shoemaker is not going to be a shoemaker anymore because he's using his last piece of leather. Let's see what happens. The next morning he went to his table. He couldn't believe what he saw. The leather was polished, the sewing was done, and there was a fine pair of shoes. Not one stitch was out of place. "Do you see what I see?" asked the shoemaker. "Indeed I do," said his wife. "I see a fine pair of shoes." "But who could have made them?" the shoemaker said. "It's just like magic," said his wife. At that very moment, a man came in with a top hat and a cane. "Those shoes look right for me," said the man. And they were. They were right from heel to toe. "How much do they cost?" "1 gold coin," said the shoemaker. "I'll give you 2, said the man. And he went on his way with a smile on his face and the new shoes on his feet. "Well, well," said the shoemaker, "now we can buy leather for 2 pairs of shoes." And he cut the leather that night so he could make the shoes in the morning. The next morning the shoemaker woke up and found 2 pairs of ladies' shoes. They were shining in the sunlight. "Who is making these shoes?" said the shoemaker. "They are the best shoes in the world." I want to pause right here and make a prediction. Look at this picture here. What do you see? What do you think is going to happen next in our story? I bet, because I heard you say that you bet that these ladies are going to buy these shoes because they're right here in the window and there's 2 ladies and 2 shoes. Let's see. At that very moment, 2 ladies came in. They looked exactly alike. "My, what pretty shoes," said the lady. Our word pretty. "They will surely fit us." And the ladies were right. They gave the shoemaker 4 gold coins, and away they went. Clickety-clack, in their pretty new shoes. And so it went. Every night the shoemaker cut the leather. Every morning the shoes were made. Every day more people came to buy his beautiful shoes. Just before Christmas, the shoemaker said, "Whoever is making these shoes is making us very happy and rich," said his wife. "Let's stay up and see who it is," the shoemaker said. "Good," said his wife. So they hid behind some coats. They waited and waited and waited. The clock struck 12. In came 2 little elves. "Elves," cried the shoemaker. "Shh," said his wife. At once the elves hopped up on the table and set to work. Tap, tap went their hammers. Snip, snap went their scissors. Stitch, stitch went their needles. Their tiny fingers moved so fast. The shoemaker and his wife could hardly believe their eyes. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to make a prediction. I bet the shoemaker and his wife will come out because they want to help the elves. Let's see if I'm right. The elves sewed, and they hammered, and they didn't stop until the shoes were finished. They were little shoes and big ones. There were white ones and black ones and brown ones. The elves lined them all in a row. Then they jumped down from the table. They ran across the room and out the door. The next morning, the wife said, "The elves had made us very happy. I want to make them happy too. They need new clothes to keep warm. So I'll make them pants and shirts and coats, and I'll knit them socks and hats, and you can make them a pair of shoes." "Yes, yes," said the shoemaker, and they went right to work. On Christmas Eve, the shoemaker left no leather on the table. He left all the pretty gifts instead. Then he and his wife hid behind the coats to see what the elves would do. I want to pause here. I want you to make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen next? I bet because I heard you say that the elves are going to be very happy because they see all the new clothes. Let's see if you're right. When the clock struck 12, in came the elves ready to set to work. But when they looked at the table and saw the fine clothes, they laughed and clapped their hands. "How happy are they?" says the shoemaker's wife. "Shh," said her husband. The elves put on the clothes, looked in the mirror, and began to sing. "What fine and handsome elves we are! No longer cobblers we will be. From now we'll dance and play into the woods and far away." They hopped over the table and jumped over the chairs, and they skipped all around the room, danced out the door, and were never seen again. But from that night on, everything always went well for the good shoemaker and his wife. I love this story about the elves and the shoemaker. It's such a cute story about how the elves help the shoemakers, so the shoemakers help the elves. Today, I want you to draw and write about what you think the elves are doing next in our story. They left the shoemaker and his wife. Where will they go next in their brand new clothes? I think the elves will. I can't wait to hear what you think is going to happen to the elves next. Leave your writing and your drawings in the comment below and I'll respond to you. See you next time. Bye.